Welcome back, everybody, to the Baltimore Orioles franchise here on MLB The Show 21. Today we have a very exciting episode. We're officially halfway through Season 2, currently with a record of 40-41. In today's episode, we will go up to the All-Star break, but we will also be covering international free agency. So, of course, the big way that teams add players is through the draft and through international free agency. Obviously, the draft is in MLB The Show, but international free agency is not. So what I have done is I have found fake players on MLB teams, and I've edited them to subscriber-made players, which if you would like to make a player for next year's international free agency cycle, make sure to go join the Discord server. The link is in the description, and you'll be able to make a player for this series as well as all the other series I do. So we're going to start by looking at some of the guys who signed with other teams, because obviously we're not going to sign every international free agent out there. There were a lot of good ones. The top international free agent prospect this year was starting pitcher Jonathan Quezada, who signed with the A's. He throws really hard, and he has 99 potential. The first and so far only 99 potential international free agent to be signed in this series. I juiced this year's group a little bit more than last year's. I think there are more players in this international free agency cycle who have A potential or potential in the high Bs, and I also gave more players higher ratings this year than I did last year. There are a lot of fun and very unique players, so remember, again, you can make an international free agent who may sign with the Orioles, but he may sign with some other team as well. Pretty much all of these guys have a shot to be major leaguers in their career. Some of these guys are going to be great major leaguers. Some of these guys might just be role players, but there are a lot of unique and cool players in here. I noticed a lot of last year's international free agents were picked in the Rule 5 draft. So some of these guys will get a major league opportunity possibly as soon as next year. And a few of the subscriber-made international free agents like Liam Bumaye and Rory O'Sullivan were picked by us in the Rule 5 draft. The three players we signed as international free agents last year was shortstop Ivan Cortes Jr., who's been hurt for most of the season in AAA, relief pitcher Matthias Hundertwasser, and third baseman Santiago Rivera, who of course is with the big leagues. This year, I only signed two guys. I didn't want to totally go all out. I also don't like to sign the really good ones. Like, I could have given myself one of these A potential guys, but I decided not to because I feel like that'd be a little bit unfair, and I still obviously want a challenge, but I also want your subscriber-made players on my team. So the first player we signed was a shortstop. I know, wild. It's not like we already have 20,000 of those. But this is Christian Dominguez II, a 22-year-old from the Dominican Republic who can play every infield position. He has a really good bat. He hits for solid contact, great power, pretty good vision as well. The only concern offensively with him is his plate discipline. Defensively, he's pretty good. He needs to work fielding-wise, but he does have a really good arm, and he has average speed. So overall, I think this is a really fun and unique player, and I think he could be a big piece of our team going forward. The other international free agent we signed is in the outfield, which is the other area of the team that's really strong. But again, I just wanted to sign the players who I really liked and fit what I was looking for. And a name who really stuck out to me was Zoufis Polidoros from Greece. Only 19 years old. He's a left-handed center fielder. He also throws lefty. Great contact hitter. Great vision. Okay defensively, good speed, has a little bit of work to do power-wise. He's pretty much the poor man's Xavier Bowman, who was our number one overall draft pick this year. So if Xavier Bowman doesn't work out, Zoufis Polidoros is pretty much the backup plan. So that'll do it for international free agency. Let's now talk about the big league team. We are, of course, 40-41. We've got a tough decision to make at the end of this month, whether we want to buy and try to make the playoffs. We're only 2 games out of a wild card spot. Or do we want to sell off some of our veteran pieces? Pretty much everyone in the American League, except for the Tigers and Rangers, are competing for a playoff spot. So it's going to be very challenging for us to get it. But if we go on a hot streak this month, then I'm probably going to want to buy at the deadline. If we do choose to sell, we have some good veteran pieces who we may ship off. Guys like Andrelton Simmons, Starling Marte, and possibly Trey Mancini as well. So we have a lot of flexibility. And although you could say we're in no man's land because we're super average, I think we're in a good spot because we can pretty much control our own destiny and really choose whether we want to compete for the playoffs this year or sell some pieces and compete next year. So we're only going to play one game today rather than two because international free agency took up a decent portion of the video. We're going to simulate to the final game of this Astros series, so we're going to simulate our next 6. In the process of simming, we got quite a few trade offers, which makes sense. We're nearing the deadline. This offer from Washington really tempted me. Luis Garcia for Jorge Lopez. The only reason why I'm not going to do it is because there's no reason for the Nationals to consider that. I obviously want to keep my series somewhat realistic, and I want trades to make somewhat sense for both teams, and that Nationals trade didn't really do that. We did get some other interesting offers, including players like Madison Bumgarner, Joe Jimenez, and Colin Moran. Moran especially tempted me because he's been really good the past couple years, but I don't want to trade Matthew Thompson. So we ended up going 4-2 in that span. We finished the sweep against Detroit. We only took 1 of 3 against the Angels, but we are currently up 2-0 in the Houston series, and we have an opportunity to sweep them today. So let's get to this one here at Minute Maid Park as the 44-43 Baltimore Orioles take on the infamous cheaters themselves, the 41-46 Astros. The Houston Astros have struggled so far in this series, down 2-0. But we'll see if the power of the trash can banging can help them avoid the sweep. Regular starters for the most part today for Baltimore. They are giving a few guys off, such as Andrelton Simmons. As we take a look at Max Scherzer, who's getting the start for Houston. Mad Max is no longer the pitcher he once was, but he's still a reliable player here towards the back end of his career. Jalen Miller, who's had a really solid season, leads things off, and Miller, shop and gap into left center. That one looks like it'll drop for extra bases. A double for Miller, and a quick start here for the Orioles offense, who had 2 strong showings in the first 2 games of this Houston series. That'll bring up Adley Rutschman, who's still having a great year, currently hitting .316. That average is going to go up after this single. Miller will score, and the Orioles quickly get on the board, courteous of an Adley Rutschman RBI single. Rutschman is still the leading vote getter for AL catchers for the All-Star game, so it still looks like he will start. 2 on and 2 out now for Willie Calhoun. He singles into right. Adley Rutschman stays at third. He probably should have gone home looking at hindsight. But the bases are now loaded. A big opportunity for the rookie Marco Luciano, who has been cold at the plate as of recent. He hits that one pretty solid into center, but Miles Straw does make the play. So the Orioles do score 1, but they also leave the bases loaded and left a lot to be desired. Eliezer Hernandez starting for Baltimore today. He was acquired last month in a trade with the Marlins. Although Hernandez has not been great so far since the trade, he's still overall having a pretty solid season as he strikes out Yordan Alvarez, who's been the best hitter in the major leagues this season. Alvarez already has 29 home runs. I think he's nearing 100 RBIs as well. Crazy considering we're not even at the All-Star break. Let's go to the 3rd inning now, still 1-0 as Scherzer's getting into a groove. He strikes out Ryan Mountcastle. Bottom 3 now. The catcher, Austin Romine, is up. Grounds this one to short. Luciano makes the play. 3 perfect innings from Eliezer Hernandez. He has not allowed a base runner yet. Will that hold up? Probably not. But hey, it's good to see him pitching really well today. Let's transition on to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Elvis Andrus, who seems to have played for every AL West team at this point, he will single into left. So there you go. The perfect game is now over for Eliezer Hernandez. But he has still been outstanding today. We'll see if the Astros offense can get anything going in this inning. As the following batter, Miles Straw, singles into center. So Houston now has 2 runners on with nobody out. This is a great opportunity for them to finally get on the scoreboard, possibly tie the game up. Yordan Alvarez draws a walk, and the bases are now loaded. Still nobody out. A big opportunity here for Alex Bregman. 2-2 count. He rips this one into left field. It will be caught pretty easily by Liam Bumaye. However, the runner will score, and the Houston Astros will now tie the game up at 1 apiece. Jose Altuve, all 5'6" of them, grounds it to Luciano, to Miller, over to the first baseman Mancini for the 6-4-3 double play. So the Astros started that inning off with bases loaded and nobody out. I think they would have preferred to score more than 1, but they are probably pretty happy that they did get on the board. Let's go to the 5th inning now. Runner on first, 1 out here for Adley Rutschman, who already has a base hit today. He's going to get another one here as that one gets past the glove of Jose Altuve for a single. And Baltimore's offense seems to be getting back into a groove. They have had a great first inning, but Max Scherzer has really shut the door since. 2 on, 2 out now for Trey Mancini, as that one will be caught in center. Miles Straw, oh my goodness, he just saved 2 runs from being scored. I love how Straw was jogging to the ball. He wasn't even sprinting, and then he just chooses to make this acrobatic, ridiculous catch. A very risky play by Straw. He probably should have gone to it a little bit faster, but whatever. Let's go to the top of the 6th. 1-1 remains the score as Josh James will enter in relief for Max Scherzer. James has had a rough season, but he is doing pretty well in this inning as he goes down 1-2-3, and the inning ends with a strikeout looking for Marco Luciano. Good work from James, whose ERA will go quite a bit lower than what it was. Bottom 6 now, Eliezer Hernandez still in the game as with 2 outs. Miles Straw will whip that one into left center field for a double. Hernandez's pitch count is pretty low. He's only at 70 pitches, so if he can get out of this inning, he'll probably be able to stay for the 7th and possibly 8th inning. Yordan Alvarez now draws another walk, and Eliezer Hernandez is starting to look a little bit shaky as that'll bring up Alex Bregman. Bregman grounds this one to short, a routine play for Luciano, but he completely misses it. What was that? The run scores, and it's now 2-1. I get Luciano's mainly been a DH so far since he got called up, but dear God, that was bad. Luckily, Luciano will make up for his mistake, fielding the final out of the inning, but the Astros had no business scoring there. Just an awful, awful defensive play by Marco Luciano. Hopefully the 19-year-old shortstop can learn from his mistake. Let's go to the 7th inning now. James fools Santiago Rivera on a wicked inside slider. 2 great innings so far from Josh James as he will plunk Jalen Miller. So the Orioles do get themselves a base runner now with 2 outs for Adley Rutschman, who has multiple base hits today. An opportunity to possibly try to tie the game up or just fly out to right center. That one was very high, but not all that deep as Straw makes the play. And the Orioles offense still has really pretty much done nothing since the first inning of this game. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th. Baltimore will make a pitching change of their own as Michael Fulmer's going to come in. The O's hopefully going to try to get a few innings out of him as Scott Murray III, one of the subscriber-made international free agents from last year's class, draws a walk. Look at this defensive play by Mancini. However, he does not turn the double play. Great base running by Scott Murray to be safe at second, and that's going to give the Astros a run as Romine will single into right. So had Murray not hustled to second, the Astros would only have 2 runs, but instead they had 3. A big single for Romine, who is hyped as we go to the 8th inning. Mr. Reliable, Pedro Baez, who's been a very steady and consistent reliever for upwards of a decade, will check in. His first batter, Ryan Mountcastle, will rip a double into left. It's been a rough day for Mountcastle, 0 for 3 before that at bat with a couple strikeouts, but he makes up for it here. A major opportunity to give the Orioles a runner in scoring position with nobody out. 1 away now for Starling Marte. Mountcastle advances to third as Marte will ground this one to short. Nice play by the Astros to get the out, but Mountcastle will score, and it is now 3-2. The Astros definitely missed Carlos Correa there at short. He signed with the Indians this offseason, but Elvis Andrus is still a very serviceable player. Willie Calhoun now, he checks his swing, and the umpire says he went around. Calhoun not happy with the call. The Orioles do score 1, and they cut the lead down to 1, but the Astros still appear to be in the driver's seat as the score is 3-2. Fulmer still in the game as Luciano with a great defensive play to end the 8th inning. 1-2-3 frame for Fulmer. So let's go to the top of the 9th inning. 3-2 your score. Houston going to try to close this game out and get the save, but all Baltimore needs is 1 to tie it. Ryan Presley will enter. Presley's had a rough year, 6.26 ERA, 13 saves and 18 opportunities. He has not been good, to put it bluntly. However, the back end of the Orioles lineup is up as Luciano strikes out on the high fastball, getting completely fooled on that pitch. I think Luciano expected it to curve down, but it did not. Liam Bumaye now the 3-2, rips that one into right over the head of Jose Altuve, which doesn't say much. You can rip pretty much anything over his head. That'll be a single for Bumaye, and now Santiago Rivera is up with a tying run on, and Rivera draws a walk. He does not get fooled by the low sweeping curve. So now 2 on, 1 out, A major opportunity for Jalen Miller, who's reached base 3 times in this game. He strikes out on the slider. A big K for Presley. So now this game will come down to the bat of Adley Rutschman, who has had a good game so far today. 2 for 4 with a single and an RBI. As this one is grounded to second. Altuve fields it cleanly, and the Houston Astros will win it. Final score 3-2. This was a pitcher's duel. We've seen a lot of games this season that both lineups have played well, but that was not the case today. Both pitching staffs were quite impressive. We did get 8 hits today. The Astros only got 5. I think our offense was a little bit better than theirs, despite only 2 extra base hits. We did not get any home runs. They didn't either. No home runs today. Eliezer Hernandez pitched well. He did get the loss, but it's not really his fault. Fulmer was solid as well. For the Astros, Bregman drove in a pair of runs. Romine had the other RBI. Scherzer was great other than the first inning, and the bullpen shut the door. So we're going to simulate past this Mets series, go up to the All-Star break. We get another trade from Houston, and it's a really interesting one. Trey Mancini for a couple prospects, the notable one being shortstop Jeremy Pena. We will decline, but that just shows the type of offers we could get for Mancini. So we take 1 of 3 against the 56-win New York Mets. So we started this episode 1 game under 500, and we will remain 1 game under as we go 5-5 today. That'll conclude this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode in the international free agency. Next time, we're going to cover the All-Star break, and we will go up to the trade deadline. Hope you guys are excited. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Peace out.